This video is all about weight loss plateaus. If you've been losing weight, you quite often will get to a point where you go for a few weeks just losing a couple of pounds, but basically staying level. That's something that's happened to me probably every 15 to 20 pounds or so that I've lost. I've kind of hit that level where I've stayed there for a few weeks. Now, it can be frustrating and annoying, and today we're going to discuss how to actually get through that and do that repeatedly. My name is Mark, and I'm here to help you live a better, healthier life. My goal is to help as many people as possible get in shape and improve their quality of life. Now, if this is the first time here and you want to learn more about practical and effective ways to improve your health, your fitness, and your overall wellness, or if you're just interested in expanding your knowledge about diet, nutrition, and exercise, start now by hitting that subscribe button and get notifications whenever we release new videos. Now, without further ado, let's jump right in. So firstly, what is a weight loss plateau? What is a weight plateau? It is one of those things that you get to a certain point, you don't particularly think you've changed anything, you think you're doing the same thing as you've been doing for the weeks previously, but you end up getting effectively stuck at a weight. Now, for some strange reason, I've always found, the 8s and 9s the hardest, going from, 38 kilograms and breaking that line, 48 kilograms and breaking that line. It always seems to come around about the 10 kilogram mark, which is 18 pounds or thereabouts, which is about where I'm at the moment. And although it's nothing drastic, it has given me a couple of weeks where I've been kind of going up and down, but essentially on the same level. Now, it's frustrating, it's annoying, but it's something that I've experienced quite a few times now in my weight loss journey. It's happened more times than I care to imagine. And whereas before I'd get quite often very hung up on it, I'd do something drastic, sometimes I'd fall off the wagon completely and go the wrong way. All of those things I've done in the past. But the thing that's actually kept me breaking through these on a repeatable thing, and will hopefully help you if you've hit a weight loss plateau, is be consistent with it. What you've been doing up till now has been working. You've been losing weight week on week. You are healthier than you were the week before. You're doing better than the week before. Just because you've leveled out doesn't mean you need to go and change something drastic. It could be actually you're putting on more muscle and losing more fat, and the weight's kind of balancing it out a little bit. Have you stepped up your exercise in the gym recently? If you have and you're pressing more weights, perhaps it's actually a healthy thing where you are actually putting on more muscle and the weight's just staying the same. Now, before we go on, I haven't been doing that. I haven't been going to the gym and I haven't been pressing weights. So for me, that one isn't a factor in this. Now, what I want to talk about in just a second is those things that you can do to get past a weight loss plateau. Something that you can actually actively take control of. And we're going to go through those in some detail. So hopefully that will help you. So let's start with the first one. So we're starting off by assuming we've not consciously done anything different. We've not started going to the gym and lifting weights. So the next thing to look at here is the basics. Have you stopped filling in your food diary? That's something that I quite often do, and foods creep in that you hadn't been having before. So it stops your weight loss. So a few things to kind of look at. If you've stopped using your food diary or MyFitnessPal or whatever it is you use, dust it off, start again. Start recording all of those things that you've been doing. Are you drinking enough water? That's one of the things that has consistently been an impact on me. I find as over the past week, I've gone back to my habit of Diet Coke. It creeps in. You think to yourself, I'll just have one bottle at the weekend, and before you know it, it's 2 bottles at the weekend, and then you're just having the odd glass through the week. So have any of those things crept back into your diet and to your week? That's the case for me. I know it, and I'm going to stop it again. So it's one of those things where either you've done something conscious, you've changed your exercise activities, you've stepped up the way you're gaining muscle, or things have crept in that you're not particularly aware of. So dust off the food diary, start drinking more water again as it felt, dropped off the wayside. Are you still getting a decent amount of sleep, or have things changed that means you're sleeping less? Because sleep really can have an impact, not just on your weight loss, but on your overall wellness as well. A good night's sleep is a very good thing to have. So look at those basics, and some might have changed, some might not. You might be able to pick up some things there. But then once you've done the unconscious bits, the bits that have happened without realizing that they've changed, then you need to actually refocus and maintain what you're doing to have lost the weight in the past. But perhaps you need to look at doing a different type of exercise. Sometimes, giving your body a little bit of a shake up by doing something different is actually a very healthy thing to get it going again, get the metabolism going. Yeah, that's the word, metabolism going again. And it's one of those things where have a look at what you're doing in your exercise. If you are still doing all the good habits you had, if you are still having the water, the good night's sleep, you're still filling your diary, and you've still hit that weight loss plateau, then it might be time to shake it up a little bit. So if your normal habit is walking, try doing some body weight exercises or something else that will help build a bit of muscle. If you've got a skipping rope, doing a few minutes skipping if you can. I tend to hit my ankles more than anything else, but it's something I've tried, particularly in the summer when you can go outside and do that. It's one of those things where, can you do a little bit more exercise? A little bit more exercise. Can you do your exercise a little bit more intensely? I know this morning when I went for a walk, it was a nice day, it wasn't too icy and everything else, so I just picked up the pace, consciously picked up the pace. Those little changes can give your body a little bit of a shock back into weight loss. But the main thing, I think, from my experience in this is, don't do anything too drastic. Don't decide to suddenly slash another 500 or 1,000 calories off your daily intake, because then you'll just force your body to go into starvation mode, where your hunger increases, your metabolism goes down, and you'll actually struggle even more the following week. So don't do anything too drastic. Just look at where you are, look at what you have been doing successfully to lose the weight you've been doing, and then maintain it as you go through. Okay, so the first thing there is, have you consciously done anything to change? Have you suddenly started going to the gym for 2 hours a week with a personal trainer or whatever, pumping weights? Are you putting on more muscle? Because muscle weighs more, but it also uses more calories. After that, it's those subconscious things. Are you still being honest with yourself in terms of your food diary and what you're logging, your exercise you're taking? If the answer is yes, you are, and you're still hitting that plateau, then it's time to do some little changes. Maybe reduce your calories a little bit. Maybe do a little bit more exercise. Maybe do that exercise a bit more intensely. But the main thing here is, if you have honestly listened to the previous videos and the common sense approach, which is have a starting point and track what you're doing, if you're still doing that and you've hit that weight loss plateau, it's time to do things a little bit differently. But the main thing with myself and with this channel is it's about healthy weight loss. So what I don't want people to do is get frustrated for a couple of weeks and decide to suddenly slash a large number of calories out of their diet and do anything too extreme for it. If you've been tracking what you're doing and you've plateaued, the good thing is, although you might be bouncing around by a couple of pounds each week, you're not drastically putting the weight on. It's about looking at it and going, right, I'm frustrated, I'm annoyed, but what's happened? What have you done? And I know we'll talk about it more in the update video, but for me, it's those subconscious little things like the Diet Coke creeping back in, the reducing the amount of water I'm drinking, eating a little bit at the wrong times of day, eating a bigger meal but later on. The whole OMAD thing doesn't really work for me. It works for some people, it doesn't really work for me. I need to space my meals out. And it's all those things that creep in and challenge your weight loss. And yes, you might have a bumpy week or 2 or 3, but it's about recognizing that you've hit a few bumps in the road and realizing that there are lots of things you can do to get back on the wagon and the weight loss train. That's a little bit of a sad one to refer to, but I hope you get my point with it. Conscious, have you done something different that is explaining the reason why you're not losing weight? The subconscious, have those old bad habits started to creep back in? And I certainly haven't gone all the way back to my old habits, because then I'd be putting on the weight by the kilogram rather than by the pound or half pound. But the subconscious ones, those good habits that you've put in there that have become habits, are slipping a little bit, so it's time to refocus. And after that, if you are honestly still on track with all of your eating, drinking habits, and things haven't caught up with you, then maybe look to do some little changes. So reduce your calories by a little bit. I will probably next week reduce my calories by 100-200 calories a day. Nothing drastic, nothing that's going to leave me hungry, and nothing that's going to put me off what I'm doing, but just enough to give my body a little nudge in the right direction, which is downwards. Exercise, can you step it up a little bit? Pick up the pace on your walk. Hell, if you're running, pick up your pace on your run, but that one's still away from me. Can you just do a little bit more than you were doing? A little bit more intensely, and those things will put you back on the path. And a plateau is annoying and frustrating, but mostly in your mind. And what you need to do there is recognize that it's happened, recognize the frustration that it causes, but realize that you've got past it in the past. You can get past it this time too. It's just about refocusing, concentrating on those basics: your food diary, your water intake, your sleep, and your activity levels, and actually just break through it. I know I've done it several times, and I have every faith that you can do it too. But those are the simple things you can do to get past a weight loss plateau. If you found that video useful and you like it, please do smash that like button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. And of course, subscribe if you want to know more about my weight loss journey and tips and tricks that you can do to get on with your weight loss as well. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will speak to you in the next one.